Thursday morning around this time, it's a catch-up with our movie critic, James Luxford's good, bad and on-demand picks for weekend movies across Coventry and Warwickshire. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
How's Stratford looking this morning?
It's absolutely lovely. I was away this week for a press trip to America, and I think it's the first time I have returned to the UK and found it more sunny, more exotic than the place I came from.
Wow. All right. That's saying something, isn't it? Okay. Can I ask what the press trip to America was about?
It was to Portland in Oregon, and I occasionally moonlight as a travel writer. So, yes, just exploring the city and all it had to offer. I had a great time, although we did arrive during what I was told was the most rainfall the city had ever received. So I think that's some sort of sign, yes.
Wow. I mean, it's a fairly wet state anyway, once you get up towards Oregon, towards the Canadian, because you've got California, then Oregon, then Washington State and the Canadian border, haven't you? So all that coastline there tends to be, once you get into North California, it's very green, you know, it's a sign of vegetation and, you know, precipitation. Sorry, I'm getting all geographical on you there, James, and that's really not what you're here for. It's James's good, bad, and on-demand movie recommendations. You pick for us every week something that you definitely recommend, something you think we should give a miss, and something we can find on our on-stream services at home. Let's start with the good, shall we?
My good this week is Lightyear in cinemas Friday, Pixar's new movie that imagines if Buzz Lightyear from the Toy Story movies were a real space ranger, voiced by Marvel star Chris Evans.
Buzz Lightyear mission log. After a full year of being marooned on this planet, our first test flight is a go. Let's get everyone home.
Good luck, Captain. We're all counting on you.
Roger that.
There's a star.
So is this Toy Story, or rather Pixar, trying to milk some more out of the Toy Story franchise, or is this actually any good?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, Disney are Disney. They are in the business of making every successful title last as long as possible. It's also a very good film. It's a tough one to explain. Basically, as it explains in the beginning, this would be the film that the Buzz Lightyear toy would be based on. So a kind of origin story of the character, as it were. It's an unusual concept, but for the most part, for me, it works, with a very sweet message about time, moving on, accepting the mistakes of the past. You know, if you've seen, most Pixar movies, they have some sort of message at their core that's quite delicately delivered, and this is no exception. I also think it has one of the most charming characters of the year in a robot cat sidekick named Socks, who is designed to help Buzz, but steals all the scenes, in my opinion. Great fun. I think kids will love it. I think some adults will as well.
Oh, really? Okay, good. I'll come to that point, children versus adults, with your last pick, if I may. But let's move on to the bad. This is what you think we should all give a really wide berth to.
My bad this week is Halftime on Netflix now. It's a documentary about Jennifer Lopez that looks at what it takes to become a megastar.
I lived in the public eye, and I really believe a lot of what they said.
Diva.
Serial bride.
How do you feel about your butt?
You did not just ask me that.
I did.
I said to her once, "Doesn't this bother you?" And she said, "I expected this."
It was hard. I just had a very low self-esteem. I had to really figure out who I was and believe in that and not believe anything else.
It's J-Lo. It's going to be glamorous. It's going to have lots of, I imagine, high-end clothing, shoes, and the stuff you associate with the Jenny from the block. But clearly doesn't chime with you, James.
No, I thought it was a case of obviously a great star, a great singer, but not a great documentary. I thought this was a bit dry. It doesn't reveal too much about the person herself. If you've seen a lot of official documentaries about musicians. They either show a different side to the person, or they feel a little like an advert for the brand, and this is very much the latter. I think if you're a big fan, you'll enjoy the footage, the concert footage. Obviously, she's done incredible things like the Super Bowl halftime show and singing at the inauguration of Joe Biden. But I'm not sure I came away with a better idea of who she is, just more aware of how successful she's been. As I say, a great singer, great actress, not the best of documentaries.
Okay, I do see it on my Netflix when I scroll through. I've so far scrolled past it. Based on that review, I will continue to do so, James. Thanks very much. Halftime, the J-Lo documentary on Netflix, which brings us to your on-demand choice for this week.
My on-demand choice for this week is a TV show, but one based on a movie. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus now. It's a TV spin-off of the Star Wars films that looks at the life of Obi-Wan Kenobi prior to the events of A New Hope.
You still want Kenobi. He's gone.
Maybe you've been looking in the wrong places. I want every lowlife and bounty hunter to squeeze him.
You can't run, Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
Yeah, I have a 21-year-old son who's slightly Star Wars obsessed, James, who tells me this kind of fills the gap in the Star Wars timeline between the end of Star Wars 3, where Darth Vader is created, and the start, as you say, of Age of Hope, and we find out what Ben Kenobi did in those intervening years.
Yes, this is sort of, I suppose, as you say, the gap between the prequel movies, which were obviously Ewan McGregor's movies, and then moving into the time before Alec Guinness takes over the role in the original Star Wars movie, if you will. And I really like it. I think the final episode comes out next week, so this is the perfect time to catch up. But so far, I think the series is an entertaining kind of chase story that gives Ewan McGregor the chance to slip back into the role in a way that feels necessary. This isn't a prequel for the sake of it. More of a side story featuring famous characters in ways you haven't seen before. I really enjoyed it.
Stars, as you say, Ewan McGregor in the Ben Kenobi role. Hayden Christensen also in there, isn't he, as Vader?
Yes, I was a little bit skeptical because obviously, if you know anything about Darth Vader, there's a rather big suit that gets in the way of any kind of personal
description.
any kind of personal acting there, but they bring in Hayden Christensen in a very surprising way that I quite liked and was impressed by.
Someone said to me, "Oh, it's for kids, isn't it?" This, but you would disagree with that, I'm guessing.
I suppose so. I think certainly the some of the stories and some of the elements are very child friendly, but I think they've been around for half a century now. The Star Wars kind of mythology, and that doesn't stick around if it only is something that you enjoy as a child. If you only enjoy as a and then sort of put down and go on to other things. These are stories that are enjoyed by all kinds of people, all ages, and this is certainly steers towards the darker side of things. Pun very much intended, but yeah, I think this is it's a story for grown-ups as well as children.
Okay. James, always good to hear from you. And no travels this weekend. I assume everything, Stratford-based, I hope. Enjoying the sunshine?
No, very much staying 2 feet on the ground this weekend.
Good. James Luxford with their good, bad and on-demand choices for us every week on BBC CWR. Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi on Disney Plus now. Halftime, J-Lo, the documentary on Netflix now. Lightyear, Disney animation comes out tomorrow in cinemas across Coventry and Warwickshire. Quick update for you on